and corporations, county assemblies, and even county agencies will be onboarded in the second phase within the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The system will reduce cost of goods, works, and even services between 10 and 15%, maximize value for money, and increase the transparency of procurement. Second, let me turn to restraining growth of public sector wage bill. Mr. Speaker, the public sector wage bill continues to rise, leaving few resources for development. Public sector wage bill stood at 38.2% of the ratio as a ratio of total revenue in 2021. To contain the wage bill, the government implemented a wage freeze in the financial years 2021-22, 2022-23, in addition to eliminating and streamlining the number of allowances. Further actions planned in relation to containing the wage bill include: first, all MDAs and county governments should review and rationalize their staff establishment to ensure affordability, fiscal sustainability with the right composition and skill sets. Second, the government will roll out a unified human resource information system for the entire public sector starting from 1st July. The system consolidates human resource and payroll data in the public service for access through single warehouse. The system has been linked to the Kenya Revenue Authority, iTax, to facilitate filing of payee returns. This reform will eliminate the multiple manual and standalone payroll systems. Third, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission will continue to streamline allowances paid in the public sector through harmonization and rationalization of categories, rates, rules for allowances. And fourth, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission will progressively review allowances and benefits in the future, collective bargaining agreements, and align them to the provisions of allowances policy framework for the public service. Third, let me turn to state corporations reform. In order to address the challenges faced by state corporations, including government-owned enterprises, the government will first privatize government-owned enterprises whose mandates are no longer relevant, those that require huge budgetary allocations for bailouts, and those producing goods and services that are more efficiently produced by the private sector. Second, restructure the state corporations through mergers and or transfer back to parent ministries or relevant state corporations to remove duplication of functions, and enhance the efficiencies and synergies in operations so as to optimize use of limited resources. And ensure state corporations are self-sustaining, generate additional revenue to the exchequer, and also ensure quality service delivery to Kenyans. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the government is committed to implement policy changes to ensure government-owned enterprises realize their full potential. You will note that in 2023, the cabinet approved the ownership policy for the government-owned enterprises. And this is a key governance reform framework. Mr. Speaker, to anchor the policy in law and to give effect to its operationalization, a draft Government-Owned Enterprise Bill 2024 has been fundraised and is undergoing public participation. Once the process is completed and an approval granted by Cabinet, the bill will be submitted to this august House for consideration, and I'm seeking support from this House for approval of the bill. Mr. Speaker, we have also prepared a draft Government Investment Regulations 2024 to provide a framework for efficient and effective management of government investment. The draft regulations will be taken through public participation before submission to this House for consideration and, if possible, approval. Fourth, let me turn to pending bills. Mr. Speaker, in the last budget statement, I informed this House that the government plans to establish a pending bills verification committee to carry out a thorough analysis of all stock of pending bills for the period 1st July 2005 to 30th June 2022, and formulate measures to stop accumulation of pending bills going forward. Mr. Speaker, As you are aware now, His Excellency the President inaugurated the Pending Bills Verification Committee in November 2023. The committee received a total of 94,997 pending bills claims, valued at Kenya shillings 662.3 billion. Analysis of the pending bill claims submitted by MDAs is ongoing. The general public has been given an opportunity to submit any pending bill claims owed by the national government. The committee is expected to complete its work and submit a report by October 2024 for implementation within the fiscal framework. Fifth, the national assets and inventory management reforms. Mr. Speaker, the National Treasury has initiated reforms geared towards automating assets and inventory management in MDAs as well as county governments. In this regard, the National Treasury will operationalize the assets and inventory management modules of IFMIS, with the module of all MDAs scheduled to launch and go live in July 2024. The rollout of county governments will commence thereafter. These reforms will enable the accounting officers to have feasibility of all assets and inventory under their control and facilitate optimal assets utilization. Sixth, let me turn to financial sector reforms. Mr. Speaker, the Kenya banking sector remains stable, resilient, and continues to play its role in mobilizing funds and channeling them to deserving productive economic sectors and activities. The banking sector remained profitable with a growth of assets of 0.3%. It is now standing at 7.74 trillion in February 2024. Credit from commercial banks to the private sector stood at around 6